Hi there. I'm so happy to be here and tell you a little bit about what I've been up to and what I've been messing around with. So, I've been going to a lot of online events lately. A lot of these over Zoom or watching streams on YouTube and that sort of thing. And one thing that I really like about going to these events and watching talks in person is that I can share the joy and enthusiasm that these people share with me with a hearty round of applause. And it's been happening that over the camera, I can do a little bit of this, and it's always nice. And I can write some clap emojis into the into the chat, and that's really nice too. And you can probably already see my screen now. I recently learned a keyboard shortcut to show emojis wherever I am on my MacBook, which is, I hope I don't get this wrong with stage fright, Control Command Space. See, and what's great is that I can just look up whichever one I like. I want to send out, oh, let's say a clap emoji, and it puts it wherever I am. And that's cool. The problem is a lot of the time, or at least for me, I kind of want to get that emoji out quickly, or I kind of forget how it is that they're supposed to be named. And I thought, I was on the sofa one weekend and I just thought to myself, it'd be funny if I'm muted the whole time. What if just clapping into my microphone will send out a clap emoji to the chat? And then I thought of a talk given by a buddy of mine from Charlie Gerard, who does a lot of cool talks to do with machine learning and controlling computers with your brain and that sort of thing. And she does a lot of cool tiny projects. Go check out her stuff. She's Dev Charlie on Twitter. And one of the recent talks that I saw her give, she said something that kind of hit me like a wave when I heard it, which is useless is not worthless. And I thought, oh my God, this idea, I got to run it by Charlie. I got to see what she thinks and see what can be done. And I thought, okay, I wrote to her and I said, I've got this silly idea. What do you think? She's like, that is my jam. Have you done machine learning before? Which I hadn't. This was a very new experience for me. And she said, well, check out Teachable Machine. And so I went with that, and I'm going to show you my experience of making this, and maybe you can make something similar or quite alike in the future. So this is Teachable Machine. It's a platform for building machine learning models. Models in this case being a set of data that can be used to identify separate things. And what's cool about it is that you can do all of this in your browser in one go. So here is my model for identifying claps. Now, I've got two categories here. One is for background noise and the other one is for claps. And you can just use your microphone on your browser and just start recording stuff. And I thought, okay, so I'll start recording some background noise, me clickety-clacking on my keyboard, talking to my partner, talking to whoever. And I've got a whole bunch of audio samples, as you can see here. Then, okay, claps, I can do that. So I just start clapping into my into my microphone. It was a lot of fun, and I've pre-trained the model here, meaning that it's learned this identification stuff in advance, so that I can spare it to you and give myself some extra time. Once that's trained, however, I can try it out. Check it out. Now, the two moving bars you see at the bottom are what's called a certainty meter. So it's constantly telling me, based on what I'm saying at the moment, how likely it is that what I'm saying is some background noise or a clap. And with all of these things, it's not perfect. A machine learning model is only ever as good as its data. And and I could have given it more, but check it out. Right now I'm talking, it's kind of jumping all over the place, but if I start clapping, well then, it becomes a lot more certain that what I'm doing is indeed clapping. So that's that, and here's something else that's cool. I can export my model that I've trained into either a JavaScript page or P5.js, which is, I've never used it before. It's a framework for creative coding. And what's cool about this is that I could take this piece of HTML that was given to me as is, just copy, put it into a text editor, and here it is. Let me zoom in a little. I realize it's kind of small. My apologies. So here it is, ready to test. And just like you saw on Teachable Machine, I can click on the Start button. Let's use my MacBook's microphone. And it's spitting out the certainty that what I'm doing is clapping or not. And if I start clapping, yeah. So that's Teachable Machine. And with that, I was able to put that into a little, that's for later, spoilers. With that, I was able to put that into a piece of HTML and start playing around with it. And then I thought, okay, that's the machine learning part done. What about sending out a clap emoji? Ideally, if I want to be able to send out an emoji from anywhere on my computer, that is, wherever my mouse is focused, wherever the input is focused, I would need what I found. Pardon me. What I found was this piece of software called Robot.js, which is meant to be a desktop automation library. And with that, I can control my keyboard from Node.js code. And I thought, well, now this is interesting. I'll check it out. I immediately went to look at an example. I will just zoom in again. So, and I found here a piece of code as an example for a keyboard. And with these 3 lines of code, require robot.js, type in a string and key tap enter, that really was all I needed in order to send out that piece of code. So what did I do? I set up an kind of convoluted. I set up an HTTP server using Express.js, and whenever the HTML front end would detect a clap, it would send a request over to my server, and then the server, which is running on Node.js, which would automatically send out the clap. And I was talking to Charlie about this, and she said, "Yeah, that's cool." And I thought, "Yeah, but it's kind of annoying that I have to have a web server running just to do something silly like this, you know?" And she said, "Well, why not Electron.js?" And I thought, you're right, because that's Node.js, and that's all I need. So I'm just going to dive into some code now. It'll be brief. It'll be painless. What you're seeing here is the HTML here at the top, very similar to how it was before. I added some CSS, some bells and whistles to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer on my eyes while playing with it. And I, added some nice decorations to the buttons. And here's the important part. Whenever I found that a clap was detected within a specified tolerance, as you can see here in line 45, I specify a given tolerance that I think is sufficient for a sound to qualify as a clap. Then I would call this thing called the IPC renderer to send a clap message over to the backend of the Electron app. If you're unfamiliar with Electron allows you to run in what I believe to be, and if I remember correctly, to be a Chromium or Chrome instance, an app wrapped as a native app. So I import that IPC renderer from my Electron app and set my tolerance to be 90%. I'm very strict. I want good, clean claps. IPC, by the way, I learned stands for inter-process communication, which makes sense. I'm communicating between the front end and the back end. So let's jump real quick to the back end of the app. So that would be, pardon me, the Electron app. Now, if you're familiar with Electron, this isn't going to look all too different. What I do is start up make a little window. I made it semi-transparent so that I could, so it wouldn't take up room. More on that later. And because I never know with macOS, I've spent a lot of years, a good 10 years making macOS apps, and I never know with their security measures. So I always try to be as nice as possible to macOS. So I said, please let me use the microphone, is what you see between lines 20 and 35. And once I have that, I show my index HTML file, which you saw just now. And here on line 50 is the big part, which is when the interprocess communication detects that there is a clap, I log it for myself. And depending if I'm on Windows or Mac OS, Windows, I had some trouble getting the clap emoji to render correctly. I will just type in the clap followed by an enter. So that's that. Let's check it out. Oh, what do I have here? What's this? It's the app running. My goodness. Let's try it out. Where could I try it? I know, in the Twitch chat. So as you can see here in the app, if you're happy and you know it, press the button. So I will do just that. And I will also make this bigger because I realize it's kind of small. I'm sorry about the connection issues. I hope it's not me. Sorry, you know what? I don't use Twitch a lot, so hello. Yes. So, sorry, it's in Spanish. Welcome to the chat is what it says, and send a message. So here we are. The app is running. Let's clap. Hey, there we go. There's a bit of a lag, so you'll probably see it after I do. I think yeah. So Twitch is a little. Actually, you might have seen me clapping already during this meetup for the other incredible talks. I'm just going to stop in case it tries. I've been already clapping for all the talks this evening because, I mean, they deserve it. But also to sort of like sneak in my demo. And yes, I realize there's absolutely no modesty to clapping for myself, but what are you going to do? Yeah, so, I mean, what I hope to show you today is that this is not as daunting as it seemed at first for me. It's also like totally cool to, if people want to reach out and say, hey, I've got this silly idea. What do you think? It's totally fine. People love to help. Just get out there and have fun and try stuff out. So that's me. Thanks, folks.